Hi, I'm Jo from JHLeather, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make this bifold wallet. But before we get started, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, about 80% of the viewers on the channel are not subscribed, so if you could please subscribe to the channel, it really does make a difference and it will help us to reach our 50,000 subscriber target by the end of the year. I have also set up a new Discord channel and there is a link in the description below should you wish to join. Now let's get started making our bifold wallets. Okay, so as always, our patterns are available to purchase via our website and there is a link in the description below. Once you have your patterns and you have downloaded them, you'll need to print them out and then we're going to roughly cut these out and reinforce them onto some card. So depending on what you have available, I've just used an old cereal box here, but if you have some thicker card available, then you can also use that as it will sort of provide your patterns with more longevity. Once you've glued your patterns onto your card, you can then cut them out neatly. And once they're all cut out, we are now ready to transfer our patterns onto our leather. So all the information about the leather I have used and where to purchase is available with the downloaded patterns. So what I like to do is roughly cut out the leather for each piece and then I will mark around each part of the pattern with a pen and then neatly cut them out with a ruler and rotary cutter. For the T-slots, you will want to use a sort of smaller craft knife to cut out the T-shape for more accuracy than with the rotary cutter. And once you have everything cut out, you can then start staining your pieces. So I am using sort of a more of an edge paint finish here for this wallet. And so I'm using a awl to apply the stain to the edges of my leather as it is a bit more accurate and sort of easier to keep clean than using a dauber. Once you've stained everything, we're going to use some Tolkanol to finish the edges and get a nice sort of shiny finish to them. And then using a wood burnisher, we're just going to polish the edge. And now we're going to heat our creases up and draw our crease line along each of our pieces. So I use a portable hob to heat my screw crease. And you want your crease line to be about 1/16 of an inch or 1.5 to 2 millimeters. Now we've done that, we're going to skive the T-slots. So we're going to skive, I'm using a paring knife here, and we're going to skive the end and the two sides down to nothing. So this will make sure that there is no bulk between our pockets. And now what we're going to do is transfer our stitching line onto the bottom of each of these T-slots. And then we can start assembling one of the T-slots onto our pocket backing. Now we're going to do this one side at a time because on our other pocket we are going to have the pull tab attached to it, which we'll need to do first. So what we're going to do is just mark on the top line there. That is where we want our T-slot to sit. And then using contact adhesive, we can put some glue on our T-slot and onto our pocket backing. We can then glue that in place, and using the card template, we can make sure that we have that located nice and straight and in the right position. We can then stitch mark all the way through across the bottom of that stitch line. Now I am stitch marking onto a lead block just so I don't damage the teeth of my pricking iron. And you can use anything that's soft. I'm using a lead block, but you can use waste leather if you've got some of that. And once you've done that, you can then double hand stitch your pocket in place. We're now going to start assembling our pull tab. So we're going to mark 1 inch back from the end, or 25 millimeters, and draw a line across our tab. And then we're going to skive the end down to nothing. And once we've done that, we can then put some glue onto this end of our pull tab up to the line that we have drawn. And when our glue is tacky, we can then fold the end over and glue it up to that line. And then using a hammer, you can just tap along that edge. What we're going to do now is skive the other end of our pull tab. And we're going to skive this down to nothing as well. And then using our pocket backing guide, what we're going to do is on the flesh side, we are going to mark the 2 holes that you can see on your pattern. Now your pattern will be slightly different to mine, but we still need to mark these dots onto the flesh side of our pocket backing. And this is going to be the area where our pull tab is stitched to. So it should look something like this. So what we're going to do is glue that pull tab in between those 4 dots that we now have on the flesh side of our backing. So you can see this is how it's going to roughly sit, and then that pull tab will pull the cards out nicely. Once you've got that glued on, you can then stitch mark along the pull tab. And then double hand stitch this in place. Now we've got that stitched on, we can then glue in our second T-slot.
And then once again, we will stitch mark along that line and double hand stitch that in place. And once you've done that, we can then glue in the front pocket. And now we've done that, we're going to use our pocket backing template and we're going to mark on for our stitching. So we're going to mark the two sort of holes there on the stitch line that is on our pattern. And now the tab side is going to be on the left side of our wallet. So we just got to make sure you mark them the right way around. And then once you've got these marked on, you can set your dividers to that width and draw a line between the two dots. So the aim of this is to have one tooth of our stitch marker over the edge of that T-slot. And then once you've got them marked on, you can then use your stitch marker and stitch mark all the way through. Now, once again, I am using a lead block to protect the teeth of my stitch marker. Now, you don't have to use a lead block. If you've got some sort of waste leather that you can use, that is absolutely fine. Or you can use another soft substance like rubber. And now once you've got that stitch marked, we can then double hand stitch along that line. And we want to start with 2 back stitches and finish with 1.5 back stitches so that both the top and bottom of our pockets have the same sort of pattern to them. And once you finish stitching, you can then use a hammer and just flatten those stitches. And then what we're going to do is with our pocket backing, we're going to mark the trim line, which is the red line, onto our little pocket slots. And then we will set our dividers to that width and then draw a line all the way along that side where we have our stitching. And then using a ruler and a rotary cutter, we're going to cut along that line. And now we're just going to do our finishing touches to this because we're going to stitch these into the wallet. So this is going to be the easiest point to do the finishing touches to these. So what we're going to do is we're going to stain along the edge. And then we're going to apply some Tolkien and give that a nice polished finish. And then we are going to pop a crease line on there as well. Now we've done that, what we're going to do is attach these into our wallet lining. So we're going to put these in and just mark where they sit because we don't want to get our glue past that point. And once you've got that marked in, we're going to glue along that top edge and then down the vertical side. We're not going to put any glue on the bottom of this. And we can then glue on to our pockets. And glue these on to the wallet inner lining. And we can just hammer that to make sure that they are secure. Now we've done that, we are going to once again get our pocket backing pattern, and we're going to mark on where we are going to stitch to. And then setting our dividers to that distance, we can then draw that along the edge of our wallet. So what we're going to do once again is have one stitch over the edge and then stitch up to that point that we have marked. And we will also be hammering our stitch markers all the way through. Now I'm using a picking iron, but you can also use a diamond stitch marker for this as well. And once we've done that, we will double hand stitch the pockets to our inner lining. And once again, hammer the stitches flat. And then we can mark on where we are going to trim to. Now, on your patterns that you will receive, you will trim this a bit later on, and you will get a nice flush edge on that side with the outer part of your wallet. What we're going to do now is set our dividers to the width of that decorative strip and draw a line across the top of our outer wallet. We're then going to skive the ends down to nothing on our decorative strip. And for this, I find it easier if you cut the strip both longer and wider than you need, and then we will trim it off once it is glued in place. And once you've got your strip glued on, you can then mark from the pattern where you're going to stitch it. And using your dividers, draw a line between these 2 points. And stitch mark all the way along that line. Once you've done that, you are then going to double hand stitch it in place, and then you will trim off any excess after you have stitched. We're going to do a few more finishing touches now. We're going to use some wet and dry paper that has been glued onto some cardboard and just buff the edges across the tops of our outer wallet and the top of our inner wallet, just to get a nice smooth edge. Once we've done that, we're going to apply some more edge stain, then some Tolkanol, and polish the edges, and then we will recrease across the tops of all of those components. And now we are ready to glue in our inner wallet to our outer case. So we're going to mark where our pockets are going to finish. Because this is the flesh side of the hide, we don't want to get any glue past that point. And then once you've got your bits marked on, you can then glue along the bottom and side edges. And then glue your pockets in place. So you want to make sure you get the edges nice and flush. And then, like I said, on your ones, you will be trimming the short edges after we have stitched. So, but to get them nice and flush now is a very good thing to do. Once you've done that, you want to just trim off the bottom excess from the inner pockets. And then using our dividers, we're going to stitch mark onto the wallet. Now, like I said, your patterns will be slightly different and you will have a trim line on the short edge. So please set your dividers to the width that is on the pattern. Across the bottom, however, it will be the same as in this video. And once you've done that, you can then stitch mark all the way through your pieces. And now we are stitch marking from the inside. So getting these pricking irons straight through is quite essential to this. So we won't have to use an awl when we are stitching, and we will have nice straight stitches on both sides of our wallet. Once you've stitch marked, you can then double hand stitch your inner wallet to your outer wallet. Remembering to start and finish with 2 back stitches. And once you stitch, you can then hammer across your stitch lines. And then on your cases, you will then trim the short edges to size. And then if you would like, you can then use your buffing block to just buff the edges. This will give it a nice surface for the stain to soak into. And once you've done buffing the edges, you can then stain and apply some Tolkanol to the edges of your wallet. And then using a wood slicker, you can buff the edges to a nice shine and then recrease all around your wallet. Once you've done that, you will then need to use your bone folder just to remove any excess glue from inside of the pockets.
So that is it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos and tutorials. And you can also check out some of my other videos on the screen right now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Watch time from subscribers. Set up a new Discord channel where... Hello.